Bowls buddies, hello and welcome to another episode of AC, that's me, talking bowls, and thank you so much for joining me on this wet, miserable winter's Wednesday. When are we going to be able to get outside and do something again? I don't know, but thanks for joining me, guys. Remember, if you enjoy this video, please hit that like button, and if you're not already a bowls buddy and a member of this community of ours, please hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free of charge, and don't forget, hit the notification bell for notifications of new content on the channel, which at the minute is 3 times a week. Fantastic. At the time of recording, by the way, 1,499 bowls buddies, one short of the magic 1,500. Oh, would it be nice to get that? And maybe a few more. As I keep saying, you wouldn't believe, well, you might believe, that most people that watch these videos aren't bowls buddies. They're not subscribing, which is unbelievable. Only 30% of you that are watching this are bowls buddies. What's going on? What about the other 70% of you? Come on, get that subscription button pushed and become a bowls buddy. Enough of my pleas for subscriptions. It doesn't cost you anything, it doesn't cost me anything, but you know, it's nice. More the merrier is what I say. So, what's been going on in the world of Crown Green bowls? The answer is very little, really. So that Spend Masters is on the calendar, taking entries for that, and I think it's full again. These things fill up very, very quickly. A lot of people preparing to start bowling again in May. That seems to be the time that people are thinking. I'm not so sure. I think it might be another wait and see sort of thing. I think leagues will be truncated, maybe playing a couple of times a week if we actually get to playing, which hopefully, fingers crossed, we will once that vaccine gets in everyone's arms. If you believe in that sort of thing, of course. I know there are bowlers that don't. On a sort of related topic to what I'm going to talk about, I noticed that BCGBA have put something out saying that all the clubs that paid their membership fees last year will be subsidised for this year. So instead of having to pay the £35, I think they're only having to pay £20 or £15. I can't remember the level of subsidy. But those clubs that didn't pay last year are now banned. And if they want to be able to play again, they have to pay last year's and this year's full amount. Think of that what you wish. I will not comment further on that until maybe a little bit later in this episode. You'll be pleased to know that I've had a bit of a delve in my shed, and I've found a set of bowls that I didn't know I had. So I'm all ready to go for the coming season. Happy days. So I'm actually itching to get out playing, which is not like me. I haven't felt like that for some time, so that's good. And I'm sure there's an awful lot of you out there feeling the same, really. I mean, we're all missing it to one degree or another, and some more than others. The thing that I'm really missing is seeing my friends from Thongsbridge and from other clubs, and just having the crack and the laugh around the green, and just socialising as well as, you know, having a right good game of bowls, playing hard, and then having a bit of a laugh, bit of a catch up with the people that you maybe only see 2 or 3 times a year. But that's what I'm missing the most, I guess. And with this lockdown going on till at least middle of February, is it 20th of February, 22nd of February, something like that. Fingers crossed the numbers go the right way and we can start preparing to get out and about again. So what am I going to talk about this week? Well, I wasn't going to mention any of this really, but something sort of happened the other night that got me thinking about it. I thought, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to, and I'm not saying any of this for you to feel sorry for me or sympathy or whatever. I don't want any of that. I'm not interested. It's not why I'm talking about it. But as my mother said to me today, I'm a very irate person, and I can be. Not as bad as I used to be by any stretch of the imagination. But anyway, I digress. Over Christmas, and you get this as soon as you're on social media, do these YouTube videos and things, you get the odd message that you just sort of ignore. Derogatory things, and I'm used to people saying derogatory things about me. They've been doing it since I was 15 years old, so it's getting sort of water off a duck's back. But over Christmas, got a few messages. I won't read them because they're anonymous, so I don't know who sent them. Just the usual stuff. I'll paraphrase. What makes you think people are interested in what you're saying? You're just a big head. That sort of thing. Questioning my reasons for going into teaching, which was a little bit upsetting. Making certain insinuations and accusations of my preferences, shall we say, which, you know, that's not pleasant at all. Why am I telling you this? As I say, it's not for any sort of sympathy or you know, woe is me. I was thinking about bowlers in general, and we do an awful lot of moaning, more than I think any other subset of the population. I think as a country we do a lot of moaning, but bowlers always moan. And as soon as somebody sticks their head up above the parapet, a little bit like what I'm doing with YouTube, there's people ready to have a pop at you, shoot you down, and it's happened not just to me but to many other people over the years. Jimmy Parker, for instance, Jimmy has his faults, but he also did an awful lot of good things for the sport, but yet people were very, very quick to have a pop and shoot him down. Same with Mel Evans. You know, he a lot of people didn't like him. Don't know why. He did an awful lot of good. Got money into the game. Got bowls back on television. All the rest of it. But yet, a lot of negativity towards him. And I could go on. So why am I saying this? Where am I going with this? I think what I'm saying is, you look at BCGBA, for instance, and there's an awful lot of people not happy with them. Okay? Why aren't we doing anything about it? Why are we only moaning? Why is there no action? We have allowed the British Crown Green Bowling Association to become what it is. Nobody's put themselves forward and said, well, I want to be on that management committee, I'm going to change something. No. We just do what we always do, which is we'll leave it for the people that want to do it. And that's not necessarily the best people for the job, is it? What do they say? A volunteer is better than 10 pressed men. Well, not always, in my humble opinion. It's the same as any club or any league. You go to the AGM and it's the same people that want to do the jobs, or end up doing the job, shall we say, maybe not want. How many times have you seen people say, well, I could really do with standing down, I don't, as treasurer, secretary or whatever, I don't have the time to do it this year, this has happened, that has happened, and they ask for people to come forward. There's never any hands up, there's never any volunteers, so the poor chap or lady ends up doing it again against their best judgment, and they become disenchanted with it all and they just do a bit of a half-hearted job. Same with leagues. I've seen leagues fold because no one would take over the running of the secretary position or the treasurer's position. Nobody in the you know, 100 plus bowlers, 200 plus bowlers in the room were prepared to help out. And it's the same when it comes to British Crown Green and counties. The same people end up doing the job because basically no one else wants to do it. And that's how we end up with the situation we have with British Crown Green. The people who are maybe not at the top of it all, but certainly get involved with management committees and AGMs, they're the people that, they're the only ones that want to do it. And if it's such a problem to us as bowlers, why don't we do something about it? Why don't we put ourselves forward? And we're just very quick to be negative, and you know, anyone that doesn't follow the, not rules, that's not what I'm saying, anyone that doesn't follow the stereotype of what people want or what they think they want, you know, they shoot them down. People with vision, people with ideas, they don't want that. You know, Mel with the streaming, it was all really professional, looked slick, looked really good. To any potential sponsors, they could see that there was a lot not only effort but professionalism involved in it all. And really what Crown Green bowlers want isn't that. They just want something cheap, something that does the job, something that'll do, that's good enough, you know. Get some volunteers to do it. We don't want to pay anyone. And I think we are where we are with the game because we've allowed it to be where it is, to poo-poo any ideas. Well, you know, when television got involved with the Waterloo for the first time in years, when Jimmy was in charge, the fact that it overran, you know, missing his teas, missing his that back at the boarding house, it's a nightmare. And that we don't want TV involved. And then you look at Premier League football, that's awash with money and successful, and TV govern everything. Start times, you know, if the Premier League wanted, I'm sure they'd have a kick-off at 3 AM on the side of Mount Everest if it was going to get the best viewing figures. We really do need to have a long look at ourselves, because this is going to be a difficult 12 months. I think this could be make or break for Crown Green bowls. If we don't have bowling again, I think a lot of players are going to go missing, and we really need people who have the right stuff to come forward and volunteer and do the jobs that need doing, get involved to try and move the game forward, instead of sitting back and letting other people do it. Whew. Wow, got all that out. So that's all I wanted to talk about today, really. I hope you understand what I'm getting at there, and I don't think it's changed much, but I think it's becoming more critical now when there's even fewer people bowling, and the likelihood is that's going to drop even further with the current situation. So it's not a case of sitting back and letting other people get on with it. It's a case of actually getting involved ourselves and maybe changing the direction of the game. It's possible. We just need the right people to step up and do what's required, I guess. Anyway, before I go, I'm going to have a look at a few of the comments that's been left on my YouTube videos these last week or so. So let's go over to Comment Corner.
Comment Corner.
Okay, so the first one up, my old pal Gerald O'Shaughnessy, commenting on the North v South Challenge at Alvis Sports Club in Coventry. I think that was about 1982, 83, something like that. Enjoyed, love the footwork, yeah, and if you haven't seen it, that is absolutely brilliant. Vernon Lee's playing, Mike Leach, they get all up to all sorts. It's a good watch. It's a good watch. John Lawler, hi Andy, great video. Thanks for all the research you do for us who are interested in the history of our great game. No problem, John. Only hope we can bowl this year. Really miss going on the green, shaking hands with your opponent and getting stuck in. Absolutely. Best bit though is the social side, having a nice cold lager on a lovely sunny evening. John, I could not agree more. Obviously pocketing a few quid as well, which is nice. Mike Duckworth, yeah, he's written another nice long message. Great piece once more, Andy. Shame no one runs re-entries these days. They were a great way for new starters to get competitive experience and learn from good players. I remember when I started playing in 1994 in Regent's Park in Morecambe, the council ran a Monday re-entry, £3 to start and then £1 for each entry. Yes, I remember it well. Loads of good players came up from East Lancs, West Yorkshire, Blackpool, Preston, Manchester, Cumbria. Kept going back in and learning from my defeats. Eventually beat my first county player, the great Ian McNeil. Never heard him called great before, but fair enough. Him, Pilkey, that's Andy Pilkington, Barnsey, and Jimmy Wild. Oh, Jimmy Wild. Anyway, came up a lot. Reg Downham and Mick Hewitson from Blackpool, Peter Hawkes, Peter Wilding from Preston, Nicholson, Gilpin, Fieldhouse and Co from Cumbria. Great fields every week, all great to learn from when you're just starting out. I've heard that you could buy an 8 at the Star as well. I'm not going to say the next bit because it could be, is it slander or libel? I can never remember. Slanderous. Let's just say Len always had his own unique way of doing things. Another of the game's characters. Take care, keep the good stuff coming. Phil Cookson, £13,000 in 1987, worth £36,808 in 2020. A good salary. A good salary? That's an excellent salary. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for getting that worked out. Jim Courtney, great to have you back, Andy. Some lovely memories from times long ago. Cheers. Dave Parkin, Roger Crowther passed away in September 2019. Yes, 2019. Yeah, I remember it now. The one club man, always stay with Longwood. If you check old Bowlers Worlds, he always seemed to make a finals day locally in Huddersfield. Only played 24 times for Yorkshire in the 80s. Believed he played a few times for Greater Manchester too after that. He did indeed, and he played against Yorkshire once at Spen when I was playing for them, for Greater Manchester. Almost unbeatable around the Colne Valley even up to his death. R.I.P. Yes, Roger was a great player, great competitor around Huddersfield area, but he was one of the few from Huddersfield who travelled about and competed all over the northwest, and I played him many times. Won a few, lost a few. Always good games though. Tom Hayes, the mighty Atom. Andy won the Star 3 times. Wow! Loved the green. Think buying the 8 was very rare, as I only remember it being done once for definite, and the player, I'm not going to mention who the player was. Again, who knows, he could be watching and he might, you know, who did it to save him travelling. Could be wrong. Re-entering was different as it was popular, as more screens had closed and you could get a competitive game into November. Yes. Mark Adshead. Andy, you were spot on about a re-entry in Barnsley. Think it stopped in 2017 or 2018. Played at Shaw Lane in the evening. From memory, it was £5 per qualifying heat, and they kept going until they had 16 for the finals night. Played in it myself a few times, gave me the opportunity to play County Murfield League players. Enjoyable and educational for a player who, like me, doesn't enter many comps. Yeah, and that seems to be a common theme. Re-entries, they were usually fairly cheap to enter, you know, £3, £5, something like that. And you pay to learn in Crown Green Bowls. You enter these competitions, you're not always going to win. I always had a rule of thumb that if I entered a competition somewhere at a new green that I didn't really know, I'd give it 3 years. I'd enter for 3 years, and if I didn't qualify in those 3 years or look like I was making progress, I'd scrub it off my list. And that way you're not wasting your money going to greens that you're just never going to get the hang of. There are these greens. Parkfield was always one for me. I used to enter it and never had a clue about it. But yeah, so you pay for knowledge, you pay to learn, you pay your money. You either win or you lose, and it's up to you to decide whether you're going to make a go of it or not. NDJD248 Charlie, I can't remember who that is. Seem to remember the Waterloo and Talbot were both re-entry in the early 70s, Andy. I'm not so sure. I don't think they've ever been re-entries. I could be wrong, unless there's some shenanigans gone on over the years, which wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But certainly going right back to the early days, it wasn't a re-entry. And certainly in the time I've been bowling, you know, mid-80s onwards, it's never been re-entry. So I don't know. I'll bow to your superior knowledge on that, but I'm not so sure. Helen Harrigan. I think with the ongoing situation, getting back to bowling may be problematic. Players may well have found other things to do. I know in the North Midlands we have recently lost a fair few older bowlers. Yeah, and that, I mean, I'm not sure what there is to do at the minute. I know last time, you know, I started playing golf, and I think a lot of other bowlers started playing golf because it was one of the few things you could do that was allowed, you know, get out, fresh air, exercise, all the rest of it. But yeah, I think you could be right, Ellen. Like I say, I think this really is a make or break season. I hope it's make. I mean, really, you know, I don't want to get into the technicalities of it all, but it's a game where you can pretty well social distance, you know. You apart from your opponent, yeah. I don't know. I don't see a lot of issue with crown green bowls. The problem is the surroundings, the clubhouse, the things like that. That's where it gets difficult. But actually bowling on the green itself, you know, it doesn't seem much of an issue to me. You're outdoors. You can social distance. You can have a mat each. You can have a jack each. It's not a situation that couldn't be sorted out. But anyway, comments on the 1988 Patricroft final. Chris Saint. I'll start with Adam Harris because this was nice. Roger Morgan, gentleman and a great bowler, loyal to Welsh bowls for a long time. Yes, couldn't agree more. Worst delivery in the game though. Living in Swansea now. Just moved down there apparently. So things people do for work. And I might have told you this before, but at the indoor club he plays at, he runs a crown green competition every year that's always full, and the flat green bowlers really enjoy it, and I knew they would. Why wouldn't they? Chris Saint, I agree with Adam. Played him at Pennyford in a competition in 1986 and beat him. Would have been one of the last, if not the last, games of competitive bowls I ever played. P.S. I don't know who's doing the commentary, but he's useless. Can't even get Roger's name right on more than one occasion. Not guilty. Wasn't me. Don't know who it was. But, yeah. And that, I think, is about everything that I want to talk about. I think all the comments from the previous week I have mentioned. I hope I've given you all a kick up the bum to think about what we can do to affect the game and improve the game, etc. And maybe not be so judgmental towards what others are trying to do. I've been guilty of it myself in the past, and you know, hopefully I've turned a corner in all that regards, and maybe we just need to have a bit more positivity about what we can actually do for the game, because I think it's going to need as much positivity as we can muster. And I'll promise to try a bit harder and be a bit more happy about things. I can't promise anything like, because that wouldn't be me, would it? But you know, I'll give it a go. So don't forget, tell all your friends, share all this on social media. Let's get some more subscribers. Sorry, bowls buddies. Let's get a bit more interest. It's not just me talking. There's loads of videos, as you've seen, of bowls from the halcyon days. There's some absolute crackers on there, and maybe that's what I'll do. I'll run through my top 5 videos at some point. Those of you who aren't on Facebook, who want access to the Bowlers World Archive, if you message me with your email address or email me directly, I I will be able to share a folder with you through Google Folders that will have all the Bowlers Worlds in there that I have currently scanned, and you can read them to your heart's content, or join the Bowlers World Archive group on Facebook, and you can also view them on there. Guys, remember to comment, like, tell your friends, and let's pass a bit of time until we can get back on the bowling green. So don't forget, on Friday there will be a new video courtesy of Roger Morgan. I think it's Bassmasters from, I think, 94. I will have to check. I'll be sorting that video out tomorrow. So guys, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for getting involved. It's all good. Don't forget to stay safe. Keep your mask on. And I'll talk to you again on Monday. Bye for now, guys. See you then.